and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Apprentice hosted Master in the Premier League when Jose Mourinho's Spurs visited Lampard's Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. With both teams fighting near the top of the table, a win would have taken Chelsea top, whilst a draw would have been enough for Spurs to go top. In the end, the closely contested encounter ended 0-0. The XG indicated that on the balance of play, Chelsea created the better quality chances, 0.97 to 0.23. The XG time map shows that Chelsea did this through frequent shooting rather than high quality opportunities, while Spurs offered zero threat after the half-hour mark. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's take a look. If you want an in-depth look at both teams' tactics so far this season, check out these videos linked at the end of this one. And if you want even more content whilst helping to support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/footballmadesimple. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive videos, as well as access to the upcoming FMS video podcast. Now, a quick reminder of the formations both managers used, with Lampard sticking to a 4-3-3 with Mount and Kovacic as the free eights, whilst Mourinho chose a 4-2-3-1 with Ndombele in the 10 position. Now, let's dig into the tactics, starting with what Chelsea looked to do on the ball. Chelsea looked to play out short throughout the match, with Edouard Mendy only attempting 3 long balls compared to Lloris's 10. This was aided by the fact that Spurs showed no interest in pressing high up. This is shown as their passes per defensive action, a measure of pressing efficiency, was over 32. So, with Chelsea coming through the first phase unchallenged, Spurs focused instead on cutting off the route into midfield. Ndombele early on was assigned to stay touch-tight to Conte, looking to cut him off and any options for progression through the centre, meaning that Chelsea attacked through the centre of the pitch 30% of the time. At times, Kane would also drop deeper to help tie up Conte, making a makeshift front two and a 4-4-2 shape, as they were generally happy for the centre-backs to have the ball. Conte would then drop between the centre-backs in these scenarios in order to get more touches on the ball and to help to begin the play. And Chelsea's left-hand side had some interesting patterns to try and create progression and opportunities. We often saw Mount drop deep into the left centre-back zone to get time on the ball. This allowed Chilwell to move higher up on the left and Werner into the half space. If untracked, Mount was willing to attempt riskier passes to move the ball up the pitch, including in behind to Werner running into the half space. But generally, Sissoko would be disciplined in following Werner deeper in the half space, as with Mount deep, it meant that there would still potentially be a 2 versus 2 in midfield, meaning that Sissoko, the spare man, could track Werner. But we could just as easily see Mount take up the position on the left flank when Chilwell remained deeper to begin the play from left back. This could work better as Mount had more chance of taking on Aurier than Chilwell would, and in fact, Mount ended with a team-high 3 dribbles. But with Sissoko generally moving deep to track Werner, there was often space in the half space. So particularly when Thiago Silva brought out the ball from the back, the shape adapted to allow Chilwell higher and wider, which would then see Mount move central to operate in the half space as well, and he even got off a good shot from these zones late on. And this generally played into their preferred attacking shape, with both fullbacks high, allowing the wingers in field. So we often saw the switch come from left to right, and in many ways on the right, they followed a similar triangle shape with Kovacic, James and Ziyech. In fact, the two wide triangles are shown in the average positions. And when Kovacic received the ball here, he would often draw Bergwijn higher, meaning that Reguilón would be caught in two minds. If he went narrow onto Ziyech, James could then be found for the cross, which happened often, and his excellent deliveries led to several half chances, as he had a team-high 10 crosses. But when Reguilón stayed wider, Ziyech could receive the ball and look to cut in on his left foot and direct crosses to the far post, also leading to dangerous scenarios. He ended with the second most crosses at 6, but usually Spurs were able to get away with it. Spurs did look dangerous on the transition, however. Harry Kane would look to drop deeper into the midfield to receive the first pass. This opened up room for Bergwijn and Son, who attacked the space behind the highly attacking fullbacks, which he would look to find, but Chelsea were often able to deal with this. But what did Spurs look to do in more controlled possession, seeing 40% of the ball? From goal kicks, they dropped both centre-backs into the box, and if a Chelsea winger came narrow to assist the central press, the fullback would be open as an outlet. But Spurs were not afraid to go longer under extreme pressure, normally to Aurier, who had the beating of Bergwijn and Chilwell aerially, winning a joint team-high 3 aerials. This was because the Blues were willing to press higher with a passes per defensive action of just over 10. But when Spurs were caught higher up, Chelsea settled into a mid-block 4-5-1, with Tammy Abraham primarily looking to cut the route into Højbjerg. Ndombele would often look to drop deeper into midfield to receive the ball, as they could create a numerical advantage deeper, as Harry Kane would drop deeper as well into the vacated attacking midfield position. And if Kovacic was drawn into these deeper areas to Ndombele, the ball into Bergwijn could potentially be on as he moved into the half spaces. And generally, Mourinho looked to get both fullbacks high, particularly down the right-hand side, as Sissoko could drop deeper to cover Aurier, and Werner was less likely to track deep on the left. However, with Kane deeper, there were rarely targets in the box, meaning that there was limited opportunity to cross. Generally, Lampard's men were more front foot without ever overcommitting, and you get the feeling that both teams were happy with the point, and it could be a good point going forwards. But what did you make of both managers? Drop it down in the comments below. As always, a big thanks to my current Patreons for all the support, including Luke Keach, Coach Vass, and Jacques Edouard, who have recently joined the Ultra tier. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.